Hi, everybody. Welcome to the final part um, of our presentation or our lectures for week 5. I was showing you in the when our time ran out. I was showing you uh, diagrams that are actually, and here it is here. Um, these are spectrograms, which are drawings of different vowels. And if you look on this left side, this is the pitch in hertz. And pitch is what we perceive. The lower the pitch, the lower the pitch that we, or the lower the hertz, the lower the number of the hertz, the lower the pitches that we perceive. And so I want you to notice that between 0 and 4,000, we will see bands of energy, which are called formants, that are enhanced. Pitches that are enhanced depending on the shape of our mouth. And remember, the sound coming from our vocal folds is just a blah pitch sound, and it gets shaped by our lips and our tongue and our jaw. And if you look across here, these are vowels. This is the E vowel, E little I, E. This is I, the capital I. So E, A, A. If you look across here, this dark band of energy is corresponding to what we call F0, or fundamental zero, the fundamental frequency. And whoever recorded these vowels, this is a record of the pitch of their voice, the main pitch of their voice. And if it was a male, male's pitches are usually between, somewhere between 130, 160 at the highest. And that would correspond, because as we look here, it's somewhere in the hundreds, maybe at the most 200. So F0 is going to stay pretty similar across, because that's the kind of indicative of the person's pitch. Then we have what we call the fundamentals, or the places above that fundamental frequency that get amplified by the shape of the mouth. And so here we have the first fundamental. To me, I'm going to do a guess and say maybe 450, because it's somewhere between 0 and 100 here. So F1 is maybe 450. F2 is over 2,000, maybe 2,200. So that is for the E sound. Now, if we look at the second drawing, that's the I sound. E, I. And what we can see is that the first fundamental is not too far off from the first fundamental in the E, but the second fundamental is quite a bit lower. It is below the 2,000 mark. And that makes sense, doesn't it? Because if you listen, E, I, E, I. Can you hear my voice drop? Even though my fundamental pitch is not going to be that much different, you're perceiving that change in the energy band corresponding to how my tongue moves and how my mouth moves. So again, I'm going to have you follow these second fundamentals. E, I, A, and you probably did perceive some pitch differences. It is this second fundamental that is really going to give you a lot of information about what sound I'm saying. For 1 second, I want you to consider this second fundamental, and it's kind of a fun one. And what you might look at that, and if you had to describe it, it maybe would look like a little bit of an arc. maybe more so than this one. Not maybe a little more so than this one, but the reason you're kind of seeing a little movement there is because I do move my tongue a bit, and it's a diphthong. A, that's reflective of that tongue movement there. The is pretty steady. And then the this reflects a little movement. And if you say if you could see my tongue, it is moving a titch. More because I'm just opening my mouth as I'm listening to myself. So on the bottom, I'm going to try to move my thing here, and if you can bear with me, there. Now you can see the bottom row, and we have the vowel ah, aw, o, oo. And that's interesting because if you look at the ah, they look very similar in the spectrograms. The difference is this one's maybe, this first format's a little higher. And that makes sense because those vowels sound a lot alike. This one here is O, and what you'll notice is there's a bigger space between the first and second format. The third format's a little bit higher. O, and then this one, there's a rising second format, and it's hard to just keep your tongue just not moving at all, but listen, it should be, you can see that rising second format and you can probably hear it. And then oo has a fairly high second, sorry about that. Oo has a fairly high second format, and the third format remains fairly high for oo. But I am pulling my lips out, so that's going to lower the overall frequency. So what we're seeing here is spectrograms that are showing you the enhanced energy bands for the vowels. Once again, and I'm losing some of it on here. Let's see if that recovers. Yeah, a little bit. You're losing a little bit of F1 or F0. F1 is here, F2 is here. This is E, oo, ah, and again you can see that the biggest or the darkest bands are in the first and second formats. I mean, we're not seeing the zero format real well. But by the third format, the energy isn't quite as strong, especially for oo. And I am not able to see this on the way my screen is displaying, but first format and second format for ah are highest here. And I believe you can still see that third format. I'm kind of blind, I'm just guessing here. And what was my point about that? I guess the point is that our ears are going to pick up the most information from the first and second and somewhat of the third format. So here's the moral to that story. Note that if F1 and F2 have more energy, or if they're darker, and not that if, but note that the first and second formats have more energy, they're darker. F3 has energy, but the higher the formants, the lighter their energy bands are, and the harder they are to hear. Typically, our ears pick up information from the fundamental frequency, which is the zero frequency, the zero fundamental, the harma, or F0, and then F1 and F2 is what our ears use primarily to pick up the contrasts between the vowels. Typically, 3 formants are sufficient enough to be for our ears to make to have the ability, and here I'm coming back on, to have the ability to distinguish between the different vowels. So this is your acoustics introduction. And we will go over this in class again, but I really hope you learn and listen from these lectures, read the corresponding pages in the book that will really help you understand about this. And in addition to the worksheet that I'll have uploaded, you are all to go and download Pratt, which is it's an application for your computer. Hopefully, I'm really hoping you all have a microphone on your computer. If not, I can lend you a microphone to plug in. But the second part of your homework is to download this Pratt. And when I see you next week, we are going to have some fun with Pratt and look at vowels and Pratt. Thanks everybody for being part of this online format this week. Don't forget you have a worksheet to do. You have Pratt to download, and then you have your pre and post test. Thanks everybody. Have a great week.